USCFootball.com, I'm Keely Eure here with Shotgun Spratling for instant analysis of USC's Thursday press conference with head coach Clay Helton. First off, Shotgun, happy Thanksgiving. It's a special holiday edition of instant analysis.
Thanks for having me, back on. Thanks for being thankful for me. I know that's what you're thankful for, Keely.
I
I
didn't say
appreciate
that.
you too.
Didn't say that, but yes, we had to show up on Thanksgiving for this press conference, especially because we needed a status update from Clay Helton where USC stands heading into the Colorado game that is still scheduled for Saturday. And Helton gave us an update of where the team stands. They were able to practice on Wednesday. They were cleared by Los Angeles County to return to Howard Jones Field, so they were able to get some hitting in. But what were the other updates he gave us today, Shotgun?
Obviously, there's a big update yesterday. The school released a statement. We did find out earlier this week that there was a player that had tested positive and was symptomatic. Yesterday, they released a statement that a second player had tested positive and was asymptomatic, and that they had 5 players that are currently in quarantine because of contact tracing. So that's 7 players that USC is expected to be without this weekend. So that could shake things up with his lineup because we know, Clay Helton did say, I will say that there are starters involved. So You're going to have somebody new who's going to have to step in. There's going to be some changes there, but he wouldn't give any names. He said it was a HIPAA, because of HIPAA that he wouldn't give any names. We'll still keep trying to report on that, work on it, see if we can come up with some information before the game. But they were very thankful just to be back on the field. That was the biggest thing for them, to be able to get back out there and practice. But they took a pause on Tuesday and decided, hey, we're not going to do any on-field practicing and try to get this nipped in the bud basically and be able to get back on the field and get back to the routine.
Mm-hmm. I know Helton wouldn't get into the position group, Shotgun, about who's going to be hit the most by this outbreak, but he, like you said, he said there's going to be first-time contributors. This is kind of where the rubber meets the road. We heard Clay Helton talk all off-season about how you have to be ready. This is why they were two-spotting. They wanted to be ready in case something like this happened. What are you expecting from guys who, one, did not practice on Tuesday and are kind of getting thrown into the mix very rapidly here?
Yeah, you always say, every football coach says, next man up mentality, next man up mentality. They all say that. But they prepared purposely for this to happen. And Clay even kind of said, he started to say it and he caught himself. He kind of said, I expected this to kind of happen at some point. And he basically said, I'm thankful that we made it this far and, haven't had an outbreak or anything. And they've got a bunch of safeguards in to try to make sure that everything is limited, if they did have someone test positive. So they're hoping that all those things in place and as Clay put it, the investments that they've made throughout the year with the protocols and everything else have worked for them and have, even though they had a positive and a symptomatic positive and an asymptomatic positive, they're kind of going to be able to nip it in the bud and be able to still be able to play. And that was the whole goal of all these protocols and stuff, is to be able to identify and then limit the spread and be able to continue working and continue playing football. And he feels like they've, it's worked out for him. He said they've been waiting on this for months for this to happen. That was the phrase that he used there. But he said, when I asked him, his biggest concern, knowing that you have to prepare some new guys, he said, I'm probably more excited for the new guys and, them getting their first opportunity. He said there's some of these guys will be the first time this season they'll be able to make a major contribution. He said it's going to be neat to see those guys step in and do the job that they prepared them for. And that's why during fall camp, maybe more so than you would have in a normal season, they gave the 2s and 3s more reps to try to just, know that, hey, there's the possibility besides of an injury or an academic situation or something like you would have in a normal year, there's the possibility of a positive test and then some guys getting dinged by contact tracing and having to sit out. So they were trying to prepare for this and work through things that would help prepare them and get them ready for this type of situation. They feel like they're in an okay spot with it. But Clay Helton also did say, one of the big things he did say was, you got some first-time guys who are stepping in. They're going to try to do their best, but it's time for the elite guys, your stars. Those stars have to step up. He said it's time for you to go be Superman. It's really about your elite guys stepping up and being major contributors, lifting the team and putting them on your back and wearing that cape, and being special, showing that Superman ability. So, we'll see who all is out there on Saturday, but the guys that you're looking at as your potential first round draft picks and, NFL players, those are the guys you got to look to step up this weekend.
Mm-hmm. And USC is not out of the woods yet. They're still going to do testing toward the end of the week to make sure that they're still good. There's no more positives cropping up, but we gather that the next 24 hours will be critical, and then they have to make sure they're still in the guidance and the protocols of LA County. So things to watch out for there. They're not out of the woods, and Clay Helton kind of mentioned there's always that tension and that fear that something could go wrong. So they're hopeful, they're optimistic, but they're not out of the woods yet in that sense. But as far as other personnel news, Shotgun, we did get a round of injury updates from Clay Helton today. As far as the running backs go, it looks like Stephen Carr and Marquise Stepp will be good to go for Saturday. Clay Helton said as long as they don't have any setbacks, that should be good for them. But on the flip side, Shotgun, the linebackers look like that continues to be an issue there.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you're looking at Raylan Goforth didn't practice yesterday when they were able to get back on the field. He said he was on the field, so he's probably doing some work on the side, but that foot sprain, is he going to be ready to go at inside linebacker? Pali and Itiote remains in concussion protocol, so concern there for him. So it's going to be up to Raymond Scott. It's going to be up to Tuasivi Nomura. Those two guys have to step forward and move up the depth chart a little bit and fill in roles behind the two starters that they've lost already. And then Kanai Mauga, played great last game. They're going to need him to step up and be an experienced guy and kind of lead that group as well. He's going to probably have to make the calls for the first time. You've had EA and you've had Raylan. I've been able to do that the first 3 games. Now it's going to be up to Kanai to take over and fill that role and be that veteran presence in the middle for USC. So he's one of the guys I think that really has to step up this week with all the things that are going on. If Raylan and Pallier are not able to go, he's got to step up and do what he can. But that's definitely a position of concern. On the other side, Clay Helton did give an update on the defensive line as well. I asked him if there's anybody questionable, and he said, Caleb Tremblay, actually, we got him back. He practiced yesterday, so they think they'll have him back. But Jacob Lichtenstein, the defensive lineman who had opted back in last week, because they lost a practice, that kind of hurt him as far as the acclimatization period and being able to get up to a functional football speed and whatnot. So they're concerned that he's probably not going to be ready this week, but will likely be ready next week. So defensive line, get one back. Thought you might get 2 back, but it looks like it'll be just one guy there. So that's a couple of the other spots where, there's still some concerns for USC.
Mm-hmm. Now, on the whole, Shotgun, what's your feel for this game? Because there are so many things happening at the same time that you kind of forget that, oh, right, there's an opponent. There's Colorado that USC has to prepare for. You have Thanksgiving. You have the players coming off of finals week. You have the COVID drama at the start of the week, and they're still going through it. And obviously, you see teammates that are sick. That probably is not helpful as well. Do you think that this could be a potential quote-unquote trap game in that sense, just because there's so many other variables at play right now?
I mean, this would definitely be a trap game in the fact that you think USC is a superior team than Colorado and you have more talent. But I think with all the other stuff going on, and particularly the COVID tests and the injuries, adversity usually helps you focus and, narrow the mind a little bit and say, okay, we really got to lock in because these other things are happening to us. Whereas if everything was going along smoothly, it makes it a lot easier to be a trap game per se.
Sure.
So I think it's less a trap game. And again, Colorado comes in undefeated as well. So this could be the third time that we say, oh, this might be for the Pac-12 South champion title or in the division race there because USC is out to a great start at 3-0. But, how many games is everybody else going to get in? What's the winning percentage is going to be? That's all going to play in. So even though Colorado has a game less than USC, this could be because it's a match of undefeateds, could be a determining game in that Pac-12 South race. So I think they'll be focused on it. And I think it comes back to if the defense plays like they did last week. If the defense continues to progress, then I think this team is going to show they can, you can win with defense and special teams. Even if you have some guys out on offense, if you got some starters out on defense, if the defense plays well, then it can carry this team. I think the offense will find a way to put points up against Colorado, but it's going to be about slowing down the rushing attack of the Buffaloes and slowing down the dual threat ability of Eure at quarterback.
Mm-hmm. And that's in Shotgun. I know it's been a newsy week. Any final thoughts before we wrap it up before hopefully the game on Saturday?
No, I mean, it's interesting. It's been a unique week, obviously, with with the COVID testing going on, and it being Thanksgiving and basketball season starting. I mean, there's a lot of things going on right now. But as Clay Helton said, this is what we basically have been training for. This is why we put all these protocols in. These are why all those steps that we've done in the past. It led up to this situation. Now, how do you handle it? Can they keep it to 7 right now with 2 positives? Can they keep it to 7, or does it become, a widespread thing? And then it's not about losing this week. It's about losing this week and next week. And you're worried about playing UCLA in the final game, because we've seen teams like Arizona State has lost, 3 games now since playing USC in the opener. So it's more about not just this week, but going forward. And, hopefully for them, they can nip it in the bud. And, for the symptomatic player, we hope he gets healthy and gets back to full strength and, is able to return and be a contributor as well this season.
Mm-hmm. Of course, it's always about the health and making sure everyone's okay first and then game second in that sense. But like we mentioned at the top, Shotgun, I'm not thankful for you, but I'm thankful for all our viewers and all our watchers. Thank you for following
This isn't
along.
the Family Feud. This isn't the Family Feud. You're supposed to save the barbs for them.
Oh, sorry. I'm thankful for you, Shotgun. But I'm thankful for everything. Thankful we get to cover football in that sense in 2020 since it's such a crazy year. But that's going to wrap it up for USC's Thursday press conference. For Shotgun Spratling, I'm Keely Eure. For more, check out uscfootball.com.